Hi everyone. Do you know who this is? This is Nana. She's the lead singer from Of Monsters and Men. I have a story to tell you about her. This is a heartwarming story that makes you realize that we're all the same, we're all one, no matter how famous we are, how rich we are. So she did her first solo album, if you didn't know, about 2 years ago almost. And my husband and I went to see her in this tiny little bar. We didn't know where we were going to see her. It was in Woodstock, the actual small town of Woodstock, New York. And we went there, and it turned out to be this itty bitty little bar. Like, we were standing this far. We were standing at the front of this itty tiny bitty stage, like a small hometown bar. And it was amazing. And we listened to her do her whole solo album, and it was breathtaking. And afterwards, the bar was still open, and some of the band members were hanging around. She had left, but I said to my husband, let's stay. I just have a feeling. So I ordered a beer. We sat at a small table, and lo and behold, she came out. She went up to the bar. She ended up talking to some of the other patrons that stayed. Most of the people who were there, which were not that many people, this was small, left. And I thought, why would you leave? You know, when you have an opportunity, see, we put people on pedestals, not just famous people, musicians, actresses, politicians, whatever. We put people on pedestals, and everybody is no different than us. We're all the same inside. We all want, our lives may follow different paths, but we want the same things. We want to show up in our true glory of who we are, in our own creativity, and be that. And we want to be valued for it. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to serve. We want to love, and we want to be loved. And we want to be in harmony. And we really truly want wholeness and goodness and unity, consciousness. And so anyway, after she was done talking to the other people she was talking to, I said, come on, let's go. And my husband is a huge fan of hers. And we walked up to her, and we introduced ourselves, told her that we drove 5 hours to see her, and that we loved her new album. And she was so kind and so natural. I felt like I was just talking to anybody else I would walk to and meet, you know, in a small town bar. And we talked about things like, well, how far was your flight from Iceland? And it was just crazy. My mind was like spinning, but in the moment, I was so in my heart center and just so grateful for this moment. And I told her that even though I had known from reading articles that her new album, solo album, was about a breakup that she had had, somebody she had been with for years, it seemed like, that for me, it really resonated because of a friendship, a breakup that had ended in my life. And I started to cry because that's who I am. I cry all the time. And I said to my husband later, I wasn't like slobbering crying, was I? And he's like, no, you were just doing your normal, like, you know, your voice breaking, crying, tears falling. And she looked at me and she said, do you need a hug? And I said, yes. But in the moment I was thinking, I wanted her to hug my husband because he's such a huge fan of hers. But I couldn't believe it, you know? But why can't we believe it? Why can't we believe those things? And she gave me a beautiful, warm hug. And then I said to her, oh, Nana, it would really mean a lot to me if you would give my husband a hug too, because he's such a huge fan of yours. And she said, of course. And she gave him a hug. And we asked her when the next Monsters and Men album was coming out. And she told us soon, that they were halfway through it. And, you know, it was small talk. It was quiet talk. It was, you know, it was beautiful. And I said to her at one point that we had seen them many times in big arenas. And I hope I